Hello students, welcome back to another poem of English, chapter 8, Vocation. Vocation means a strong feeling of suitability for a particular career or occupation. This poem is written by Rabindranath Tagore and displays a child's yearning and wishes. It speaks about how a child is unaware of the harshness connected to daily life and gets attracted to various things in life. The schoolboy is the speaker in this poem. While on his way to school or even at home, the child meets a hawker, gardener, and a watchman. In this poem, the child speaks of them. The hawker sells the bangles, the gardener digs the soil, and the watchman keeps watch at night. He feels envious of them because they all seem free while he is not. Every day on his way to school, he sees a hawker selling bangles. He seems to choose any road he likes. He has no fixed time even of returning home. The child wishes that he were a hawker. From the gate of his house, he sees the gardener digging the ground and soiling his clothes. No one asks him not to dig ground or not to soil his clothes. He is so free that the child aspires to be a gardener. At night, through the open window of his room, he sees the watchman moving up and down the lane. No one tells the watchman that it is night and he must go to bed. The child wishes to be a watchman. स्कूल जाते हुए या अपने घर पर भी बच्चा एक फेरी वाले, एक माली और एक चौकीदार से मिलता है। इस कविता में बच्चा उन्हीं की चर्चा करता है। फेरी वाला चूड़ियां बेचता है, माली जमीन खोदता है और चौकीदार रात में पहरा देता है। वो उनसे ईर्ष्या करता है क्योंकि वो तो सारे स्वतंत्र है जबकि वो नहीं है। अपने स्कूल से रास्ते में रोजाना उसे एक फेरी वाला मिलता है जो चूड़ियां बेचता है। वो चाहे जिस सड़क पर जा सकता है, घर लौटने का भी उसका कोई निश्चित समय नहीं है। बच्चा सोचता है कि काश मैं फेरी वाला होता। अपने घर के दरवाजे से वो माली को देखता है जो जमीन खोदता और अपने कपड़ों को गंदा करता रहता है। ना तो कोई उसे जमीन खोदने से मना करता है और ना अपने कपड़े गंदे करने से। वो इतना आजाद लगता है कि बच्चा माली बनना चाहता है। रात्रि में अपने कमरे की खुली खिड़की से बच्चा चौकीदार को भी देखता है जो गली में इधर से उधर घूमता रहता है। कोई चौकीदार से नहीं कहता कि रात है और उसे सोना चाहिए। बच्चा एक चौकीदार भी बनना चाहता है। लेट्स रीड द पोएम। When the gong sound 10 in the morning and I walk to school by our lane, every day I meet the hawker crying, bangles, crystal bangles. There is nothing to hurry him on. There is no road he must take, no place he must go to, no time when he must come home. I wish I were a hawker, spending my day in the road, crying, bangles, crystal bangles. The child said that when the gun struck and made a sound to declare the first part of the day, it was 10 o'clock. He said that this was also the time for him to go to school. On his way to school, he used to watch a salesman who would shout, bangles, crystal bangles, to sell his bangles. While looking at him, the child had a thought that the vendor was free. He was in no hurry to reach anywhere, unlike the child who had to reach his school on time and come back home. He thought that the bangle seller was free of any time constraints. Place boundation means he was free to move to any place unlike him. He felt as if he was under strict observations and the vendor was enjoying complete freedom. Thus, he was so impressed by his freedom that he wished to be a hawker. He wished to move freely and shout just like him in the streets. When at 4 in the afternoon I come back from the school, I can see through the gate of that house the gardener digging the ground. He does what he likes with his spade. He soils his clothes with dust. Nobody takes him to task if he gets baked in the sun or gets wet. I wish I were a gardener digging away at the garden with nobody to stop me from digging. The child, after coming back from school at 4 in the afternoon, noticed the gardener through the gate of the house. He would peep out and notice him digging soil. Here, the child was attracted by his freedom to be in the dust and do the things of his choice with his tools. He thought that the gardener had the freedom to dirty his clothes with soil, play with his tools, stay in the sun for longer hours, get wet with sweat, or do anything, and he was not getting any punishment for all this. Whereas, if he would have been punished for all this, so completely unaware of the hardship of the worker, he was attracted to be a gardener to do things of his choice, and no one around to stop him. Next line. Just as it gets dark in the evening and my mother sends me to bed, I can see through my open window the watchman walking up and down. The lane is dark and lonely, and the street lamp stands like a giant with one red eye in its head. The watchman swings his lantern and walks with his shadow at his side, and never once goes to bed in his life. I wish I were a watchman walking the street all night, chasing and shadows with my lantern. At night, his mother would send him to sleep in his room where there used to be an open window. From there, he would notice a watchman walking here and there from one side to another in the dark, lonely street. He also had a lamp in his hand which looked to him like a superhuman with a red eye in its head. So, a schoolboy is the speaker in this poem. The child in the poem wishes to be a hawker, a gardener, and a watchman. Therefore, the outlook of the boy is obviously childish. Hopefully, time and maturity will enable the boy to find his vocation through his education and commitment to a profession.